Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the High School Sports Beat. I am Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, and once again, as always, this week we are joined by Matt Trabold. Matt, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's start off talking about something we don't see too often, and that's a guy who goes number one in a draft and then says, you know what, I'm not going to
go. Yeah, what a week it was for the best face-off specialist in really college lacrosse history, TD Ierland, the Victor native. Monday night, he gets drafted by the New York Lizards, the first overall pick of the 2020 MLL lacrosse draft, the Major League Lacrosse draft there. Then the conversation turns into, will he also go first overall in the Premier Lacrosse League draft that's happening in a couple weeks? And then what league will he pick in the end to go with his pro ball? But less than 24 hours later, after he gets that pick by the Lizards, the news comes out along with an awesome Instagram post by TD that says, run it back. The news that the Victor native will surprisingly be able to circumvent the decree by Yale that 2020 seniors would not be allowed by the NCAA, or would not be allowed that NCAA-sanctioned extra year of eligibility, and he could actually play for Yale next year, which even very recently seemed inconceivable. This was able to happen because Yale has a time-honored 8-semester rule with their athletics, and he started his career at Albany, so that does not really apply to him. Now, unfortunately, for their team next year, a little bit, it does not help some of his teammates, like Jackson Morrill, Lucas Kotler, who ended up transferring to Denver, their 4-year Bulldogs. So they have that 8-semester rule applying to them. But Ierland will be there next year for another crack at a title.
Oh, that's outstanding. Good for him. You know, it's nice to see he gets to go back and finish up at Yale. So let's talk a little bit about baseball. Let's talk about some of the guys from Section 5 who, before all this happened, it looked like things were on the right track, that's for sure.
Yeah, so going now, like you said a second ago, from a Section 5 product who flourished in the shortened D1 college season in lacrosse to some who did it in baseball. And starting off in the Big Ten, big conference there with the Newark product and current Maryland shortstop Ben Cowles. He started 50 games as a freshman last season and took the next step forward in production this past campaign, started all 15 games the Terps played in, and became a power hitter that team can lean on. For the 2020 season, he ranked 6th in the Big Ten in home runs and 11th in the conference in runs batted in. Another Rochesterian with impressive conference ranks. Binghamton Junior outfielder and Webster Schroeder alum Shane Marshall started all 12 games. The Bearcats got to play in before coronavirus concerns shut everything down. The end of the year ranked top 10 in a number of key hitting numbers for the America East Conference. That includes being 9th in the conference and a few big ones, batting average, runs batted in, and really just a great career going so far for him as a sophomore. He was the only underclassman on the 15-guy All-America East team. Then there is McQuaid grad and St. Bonaventure senior pitcher Donnie Moffat, who has also written for Paul Gotham from this show over at Pick and Splinter. So he's a man of many hats. 18 strikeouts in 3 appearances this past season. That includes 2 starts. In the final posted conference stats for the Atlantic 10 for 2020, he ranked 6th in earned run average. And then one last guy I wanted to mention. He impressed as a freshman in 2020, the youngest guy of this group, Hofstra infielder and former Victor Blue Devil, Santino Rosso. He got the starting nod in 8 of the Pride's 12 games this past season and was top 40 in the CAA conference in batting average. That fearsome foursome showing how underrated Rochester baseball is.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, though, all these guys that are getting some serious props from this area when they go and they're getting some big-time playing time at big-time schools. So it's awesome to see. And, it's a good week anytime you can work Gotham into the show. So
absolutely.
You managed. Hey, Matt, great stuff as always. Thanks for joining us this week. And we will see you once again next week. All right, thanks a lot, bud.
Thank you.
And we are back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this.